Hey, it's Paris. You know, I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
After just 7 days, 96% of Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream users saw reduced wrinkles and diminished dark circles. Shop now at Sephora and discover how change can happen in the blink of an eye. Consumer tested by 110 women.
Welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that takes all the spooky it can find and lovingly displays it in the cobwebs and shadows. I'm your spirited host, Jennifer, your devoted medium who loves to gossip about ghosts with you. Tonight, I want to take you into a world that already carries an uneasy atmosphere. Taxidermy. There is something undeniably strange and creepy about it. A body preserved in a state of stillness, posed in lifelike form, yet hollow of life. There have been stories of movement in this stillness, a sense that something more than skin and stuffing remains. Tonight, I'll share with you a collection of first-person accounts, people who lived with haunted taxidermy, stories where the line between art and afterlife blur in unsettling ways. After the spooky stories, I invite you to join me at my séance table. As your medium, I will open the space for a message from the spirits. Since this reading is dedicated to someone who's listening to the episode, perhaps the message will find you just at the right moment, just when you need to hear it. That's later on in the podcast. But first, the spooky. Before we begin the stories, I want you to ask yourself, why would taxidermy attract hauntings? Well, these aren't just objects. They're remains of once living creatures, preserved through a process that is both reverent and invasive. Sometimes it's an animal that held deep meaning and companionship to its owner. Sometimes it's a trophy tied to the emotions of a hunt. And sometimes it's simply an old relic sitting in a dusty shop corner, waiting for someone new to take it home. And when we do bring these pieces of the past into our lives, we're not always just inviting in a curious piece of decor. We may be inviting in everything it carried with it. I inherited a mounted deer head from my grandfather when he passed away. He was the kind of man who told you exactly how many points were on a rack before you even noticed the antlers. And his cabin was practically a shrine to his hunts. Every wall was covered, deer, elk, even a bear rug with glass eyes that seemed too small for its enormous head. When my family was dividing things, I didn't think I would have any of these items, but I was given the largest buck. My mother said, for some reason, that it was fitting, though I don't hunt and never plan to. I drove home with the deer with it awkwardly wrapped in a blanket in the back seat, its nose poking out just enough that I'd catch it in the rearview mirror. The strangest part? I kept checking the mirror because I felt like a living animal was there on the drive with me. I mounted the deer in my den. At first, it was just an odd conversation piece. My friends teased me about it, and I couldn't blame them. They said it made my place look like a lodge. But within a week, I began waking up to noises. Faint, short, sharp exhales, almost like there was a deer breathing and sampling the air around it. The sound was soft, but I could tell it came from the same room as the deer head. I told myself it was the house settling, but one night I heard something heavier. Slow, deliberate sounds, like hooves shuffling on the wooden floor. My den has an old oak floor, and I knew the creak of every board. This wasn't creaking. It was weight. I got up, turned on the lamp, and froze. The deer's glass eyes seemed wet. That's the only way I could describe it, shining with a softness I hadn't noticed before. A few days later, I noticed scratches on the plaster just above the mount. 4 parallel grooves, each about 2 inches long, exactly where antlers would scrape if something moved its head upwards. I checked. No ladder, no tools, nothing had touched that wall. I never mentioned it to my family. When they asked, I said the deer looked great. But one night, after hearing another breath, I carried it out to the garage and leaned it against the wall. Since then, the house has been quiet. Still, I haven't gotten rid of it. I can't explain why, but something in me feels like it's mine and I need to keep it. My grandmother's living room had 2 constants, a huge grandfather clock that chimed too loudly, and a fox. Not a pet, this was a full taxidermy mount, posed mid-step with its head cocked and its mouth open in a toothy little grin. She kept it in the corner by the window, and she treated it like family. She dusted it regularly, even polished its glass eyes with a soft cloth. As a kid, I hated it. I couldn't go near that corner. If I had to walk past it, I'd take a wide arc around the room. My grandmother once caught me glaring at it and said, "Oh, he's harmless. He watches over the house." Then she added, almost like she was sharing a secret, "Foxes are more clever than people give them credit for. He sees more than you think." Years later, after she passed away, I stayed in the house to help sort through her things. The fox was still in its corner. During the day, I could almost convince myself it was just a dusty relic. But at night, when the house was silent, except for the ticking clock, it was different. I started noticing changes, subtle things. I'd leave the room and come back, and its head seemed angled slightly more towards the center of the room, or its grin looked sharper, as if more teeth were showing. Once, when I came in with a box of old photo albums, I was certain it had shifted a few inches closer to the window. I actually measured the rug to convince myself it hadn't moved. Then came the whispering, not loud, but constant enough to notice when the clock wasn't chiming. I'd stop what I was doing, tilt my head, and hear the softest murmur of words I couldn't make out. I circled the room more than once until I realized it was loudest when I stood beside the fox. My skin prickled. On the last night, I slept in the guest room, door firmly shut. In the morning, I came downstairs and found the fox angled directly towards the doorway, facing where I had been all night. When the house was emptied, no one in the family wanted the fox, not even the cousins who usually took every oddball thing. So, it's still there, alone in that empty house, guarding nothing at all. I collect oddities, curiosities, taxidermy, old medical tools, that kind of thing. My friends call my apartment half antique shop, half haunted house. So when I found a barn owl at an estate sale, I couldn't resist. It was posed perfectly, wings folded tight, head cocked to one side in that unnervingly human way owls have, as if it was listening. The woman selling it said her late husband had been a sportsman, though I couldn't picture anyone shooting something this beautiful. The first night I owned it, I dreamed of flying. Not floating, not drifting, flying. I felt the wind rushing over my body, fields unrolling beneath me, the world spread out like a map. At first, it was exhilarating, but then the dream shifted. I wasn't myself anymore. I was the owl. I could feel the tension in its muscles, the focus in its eyes. I was hunting. So many nights after that, the dream came back, and every time when I looked down at the ground, it wasn't animals scurrying in the grass. It was people. Ordinary people, walking, talking, unaware they were being watched. The owl, me, would swoop lower, and I'd see their faces staring up, startled just before my strike. I started avoiding sleep, but it didn't matter. Even short naps led me back into the sky. The hunger in the owl's belly was mine now, and it was unbearable. I tried covering the owl with a sheet, like you'd cover a mirror in mourning. It didn't help. The dreams continued. One night, I woke up gasping, heart pounding, and I was sure I heard wings beating inside the room. Not outside, inside. The sheet had slipped, and the owl was staring directly at my bed. I sold it to another collector not long after. He was thrilled to have it, didn't care about my warning. He said the dreams sounded fascinating. That was the last time I saw it. My dreams stopped immediately. I'm left wondering whether the owl and I had a special connection, or if that collector's out there somewhere, not getting very good sleep.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits tonight, so thank you for joining me here at my séance table. I have the candles lit tonight. I have a little bit of sandalwood incense in the air, and as I work tonight, I am accompanied by the stone Rainbow Moonstone. This is a beautiful white, creamy stone that has flashes of rainbow iridescence within it, and rainbow moonstone is often associated with balance, calm, and clarity, but I love to use it for intuitive work and enhancing any sort of psychic attunement I'm hoping to achieve. The name of this again is Rainbow Moonstone. At this time, I clear my mind, open up the space for a spirit to come close, connected to someone listening right now. A male spirit is coming forward. He's showing me this zip-up blue lightweight jacket that he's wearing. It kind of reminds me of a postman's jacket. You know how they're blue and kind of straight and nondescript? This feels like a father figure to me. He has a very quiet disposition about him. Kind of like you can tell there's a lot of thoughts going on in his mind, but he's not sharing them. Very gentle, soft smile. Not, the flamboyant, toothy grin. I don't hear him laughing out loud. He seems to share his emotions gently and quietly. He's sharing this feeling of worrying about money. So he's very dedicated to his job. And it's coming back to that jacket again. I think it was part of his work uniform. He's sharing that every once in a while, and maybe it just seemed this way because you were young at the time, but suddenly a spontaneous road trip family vacation or quirky little destination spot. It might have seemed spontaneous because when we're young, our parents don't always tell us the plans way in advance. All of a sudden, we're just kind of in the car going on our way. And it feels like he had this quirky side to him that his day-to-day life didn't allow him to show. But on these vacations and these little trips, it was really obvious. And he lit up in a way. Trips like going to Wall Drug or, I don't know, that might not be a literal destination, but it's that quirkiness, the Americana road trip of the past where you just encounter quirky things. Or, oh, he's correcting me. It's weirder than that. It feels like rock collecting, or you would know what I mean. It's jumbling up for me, and sometimes when that happens, it's hard to parse out exact sentiment. It feels very quirky and fun and unpredictable and unique. Station wagon with the paneling. And he had a keychain that had the emblem of the car on it, and you were fascinated with that as a kid. It seemed like it was this just really like a sleek jewel because it was this metal emblem with resin in the middle of it. It looks red to me. All right, now I feel like I'm getting into the detail weeds here. Let's see. What is his message for you tonight? He wants to say you're an amazing mother yourself, that you are just such an emotional shelter, and you guide yourself that way with your emotions, your heart, and you make your heart available, and he loves that about you. He's talking about you're ready to level up a little bit. And that could be in many aspects of your life, but don't hold back to keep the predictable. Trade it for the unknown, because things that it might feel like a risk because it's unknown, but it'll be okay. That's just your brain trying to convince you to stay where you are. You're ready to move and transition to more in life. So if there's something that your soul's really calling you to do, pay attention and investigate it in small steps, and you'll get there. Look out at the world and see what you want to bring closer to you. See what you want to explore, whether it's going out there and getting it or bringing it into your life. Do it. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for sharing this space with me tonight. If this message connects for you, please reach out and let me know. I absolutely love doing this work and sharing it with you. So thank you. Dear listener, we have reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed my spirit work this evening, and that possibly the message from the spirits has connected for you. And I also hope that you enjoyed my spooky tales of haunted taxidermy. I think taxidermy is supposed to capture an eternal pose, a way of preserving life at its most vivid peak. But what these stories remind us is that stillness doesn't always mean silence. Objects have weight, presence, memory, and sometimes the things we think are motionless can carry echoes of what they once were. That should be respected. So next time you're wandering through an antique shop and feel glass eyes following you, remember, some things we bring into our lives are more than decoration. Do you have a haunted taxidermy story of your own? I would love to hear it, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.
The Fall Line is a true crime podcast covering the coldest cases in the southeastern United States and occasionally beyond. We focus on the missing persons, the unsolved murders, and the unidentified does that don't get media attention. Empathetic and intensively researched, The Fall Line will take you on deep dives into unsolved cases that you've never heard of and make you wonder why you haven't. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In Season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on Season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.